pray that all is well. Happy New Year is due, so I'll say that first. And I'm excited to be back. We had two replays back to back, um, one last week and a week prior. But if you are connected with me on TikTok, sorry, and not on Facebook or YouTube, you would not have seen the replays the last couple of weeks. But if you've been in it with us for the past 17 weeks, then the replay would have served as a refresher to you. But welcome to another Coach Class with Coach. This is your boy, Coach White, your self improvement coach. Again, Happy New Year, good people. I pray that all is well with you and your families. And before I say anything else, let me get dressed. Pardon me. For all you Ravens fans, these are free. Giving out these free Steeler hats. So if you want one, just shoot me a DM and I'll give it to you. I don't care where you are. Ethiopia, Africa, Zimbabwe. We got hats for you guys. Here's my brother from the same mother. What's going on, champion? How you feel?
What's up, bro? You hear me?
Yeah, you loud and clear, champ. How was your
It's
day?
good. Man, I'm grateful. Another day.
Yes, sir.
Another day. Feel how you feel, bro?
Man, all is well, man. Can't complain. Happy to be back in the saddle. Got some real good cooking that we're going to do in a few minutes. So, without further ado, let me get to these announcements real quick. And before I do, let me give a shout out to David. Salute. Thank you for joining, champion. Johnny, thank you for joining. Serena, thank you for joining. Appreciate you guys. Kingdom Culture, thank you for checking in, champion. Danny, Alexis, uh, Jones Johnson, thank you for checking in. Salute. Even if you guys are in for a little while. New Melanin, thank you for checking in as well. Uh, yeah, man. Let's get into these announcements real quick because I'm excited to get into this today. Welcome to Coach Class with Coach. We are back on. This is week 18. And the unit is self improvement, but the specific lesson we're going to be on, or our lesson of focus, or our area of focus, is going to be about the power of cognitive restructuring. Now, we hit on this before, but these are one of these topics, Jamal, we can't hit on enough. So we're going to jump back into it. I have some resources I'd like to share with you guys and an exercise that we're going to walk through and I'm going to actually direct you to so that you can do your own self work. Fair enough? All right. So, announcements. Check us out on social media at the Gallery That Tells Your Story channel. We have some content relative to, you know, life conversations, relationships, things of that nature. And what we do is we line everything up with the scriptures. So really good stuff, man. Shout out to Jazz. Shout out to 50 who has joined us in the lounge. Uh, Shout out to my man Dax who has joined us in the lounge as well. And shout out to my wife, of course, who is always with us in the lounge. So check it out, the Gallery That Tells Your Story channel on YouTube. If we are not connected on Instagram, let's get connected. So it's Darrell Dr. White on Instagram, and on Facebook it's Darrell White. All right, so let's stay connected. Now, if you're viewing on TikTok, unfortunately for me, the Restream app that I use, uh, TikTok and the powers that be has decided that Restream can't be used unless you have, I think, 1,000 followers. So I'm far from 1,000 followers. So unfortunately, if you're just viewing on TikTok, you won't be able to see the presentation. But if we're connected on Facebook and IG, maybe IG, IG is still under investigation. If we're connected on Facebook, and if you are in the YouTube on my YouTube channel, the gallery that tells your story, then you will be able to see the presentation. Also, we have books for sale. If you follow me on TikTok, I've been promoting these books for some time now. The Invisible Marriage. Yes, you can be married and be invisible in the marriage. It is a dope Christian fiction novel. So check that out. It's a part of Aiden's journey. And then we have Forsaking All Others, Aiden and Nicole, which is obviously a part of Aiden's journey. It's about the trials and tribulations that he experiences in his new marriage. So that's pretty dope. Then we have a really dope collaborative project that I did with some really good Christian fiction authors. Shout out to Rock. Shout out to Anastasia and Taisha. It is called I Do, I Did, and It Didn't. And these are also, or all rather, available on Amazon and Kindle. And last but certainly not least, my wife's poetic novel. If you really like poetry, deep poetry, poetry that will allow you to escape, especially when you are in predicaments that encompasses domestic violence, then this book is for you. It's called 50 Shades of She. Really deep poetry, man. It allowed my wife at the time and her past to escape. It's pretty amazing what she was able to do, and how through journaling she used that as a point of self-reflection on her experiences, and she was able to get out. So check that out, 50 Shades of She. Also, we have Bible study with Coach every Sunday from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check that out. We are walking through the book of Hebrews verse by verse. We have been studying Hebrews now for a year and 2 months. And we are on Hebrews chapter 8. We are taking our time with it. I think we are on verse 3 of chapter 8. So maybe another year or so before we finish, but we're going to take our time with it so that we can know what the Bible means by what it says. Also, we have t-shirts for sale. We have the Gallery That Tells Your Story t-shirts. We have John 8 and 24 t-shirts. And we have one of my favorite messages, self-love over self-destruction t-shirts available. So if you're interested, send me a DM. Yeah, and I'll get the shirts out to you right away. And last but certainly not least, we are recruiting coaches to join our team. Interested in coaching, send me a DM. We would love to have you as a part of the team. But also, I am recruiting youth coaches. It's time to train up this next generation, y'all. So if you have a youth that may be interested in learning about life coaching, specifically self-improvement, grades 5 through 12. We're going to be teaching on 4 pillars. Three major pillars: self-improvement, conflict resolution, and problem solving. But we also provide academic support. as well. And we have a really dope thing going on the weekends where the youth come together and we have this Connect Forward challenge, man. It's pretty fun and it's exciting to teach them strategy games uh, and the importance of the balance of offensive and defensive strategies in games like Connect Four. Man, I had this kid, Jamar, who is, I want to say he's 9. He might be 10 now or going on 10. Man, this kid is bad, man. I'm talking about, and we've been doing this for maybe about 3 months. And I've just been pouring into this kid. I pour into all the kids, obviously. But I've just been pouring into them, teaching them strategy. It got to a point where I was playing against him, just playing around, just, you know, trying different things on him. Man, this joker beat me. I said, hold on, wait a minute. I got to get focused. Man, he beat me a couple more times. Yeah, I ended up coming back on him, of course, but yeah, he's really good. He said my grandma bought a board for me. He said, Coach, I've been practicing. I said, man, I can tell. So yeah, this kid is 9, man, maybe 10. He is amazing on that Connect Four board. So all that to
Mm.
say, we are recruiting youth coaches, and that Saturday Connect Four challenge is a part of the programming. So if you have any youth that may be interested, grades 5 through 12, send me a DM. All right. Okay. Now let's get into the quote of the day. All right, I'm going to shrink my screen a little bit and put you in the bottom corner, my brother. Okay, let's go with first of all, I won't get this. Let me just rid of some of these tabs. Here we go. Quote of the day: "Guide the Session" by Marianne Williamson. The quote is, "Our key to transforming anything lies in our ability to reframe it." I'll repeat that 2 more times. Our key to transforming anything lies in our ability to reframe it. One more time. The key word that stands out to me in this quote is ability. All right. Our key to transforming anything lies in our ability to reframe it. So today we're talking about cognitive restructuring, um, or cognitive reframing is another way to say it. And we're going to dig into this. All right. So I'll stop sharing here. And you guys, if you guys have been with me, you know that I am a huge fan of Psychology Today. But I'm also a huge fan of PositivePsychology.com. So that's 2 resources I'm giving you guys. I don't claim to be a genius. I am still learning, although I am a coach. Coaches can't coach themselves. Just like a doctor can't provide his own surgery. So I'm always learning. So this is the second resource I'm giving you guys. The first one is Psychology Today. You can literally Google just about any subject matter and just after it type in Psychology Today, and you will find a plethora of articles that you can learn from. If you're serious about self-improvement and I highly recommend it. Second thing I recommend is positivepsychology.com. I'm going to repeat it, positivepsychology.com. They have a plethora of not just articles, but they have many exercises, many activities, and a host of other resources that you can tap into if you are invested in self-improvement. Second resource I'm giving you guys. Please take advantage of it. So this one, Jamar, is about cognitive restructuring, the power of reframing thoughts. All right, so let's get into this. And I'm just going to skim this. And the article reads, it's human nature to come up with schemas or thought patterns and assumptions about how things work. Without them being the schemas, thought patterns, and assumptions, we would have to approach every problem as a brand new one with no pre-existing experiences, problem-solving techniques, or lessons learned to draw from. The issue with these schemas or thought patterns and assumption is that they are not always accurate. We build everything on truth. Without truth, you don't have a foundation. You can't build nothing on falsehood, lies, and deceptions. So when we coach you up and we build your foundation on truth. Or if we have to rebuild your foundation, we rebuild it on truth by exposing all the lies that you believe to be true in your life. All right? So that's the issue. The issue with schemas, the issue with thought patterns and assumption is that they're not always accurate. All right? We do not always come up with the best and most effective methods for solving problems, but these methods can get saved to our subconscious anyway. So our thought patterns, our assumptions can be downloaded into our subconscious minds. And that's a problem. Then the article goes on to say, fortunately, there's an effective evidence-backed process of changing these faulty ways of thinking that can help correct biased, skewed, or just plain inaccurate beliefs we hold. All right. So let's scroll down a bit. What is cognitive restructuring? Cognitive restructuring or cognitive reframing is a process used in therapy and mental health coaching that helps clients discover, challenge, and modify or replace their negative, irrational thoughts, which are also called cognitive distortions. All right. It is a staple of cognitive behavioral therapy and a frequently used tool in therapists and coaches' toolboxes because many of our problems are caused by faulty ways of thinking about ourselves and the world around us. This process offers a way to help people reduce their stress through cultivating more functional thought habits and building positive self-talk. All right. So here's some of the most common examples of dysfunctional core beliefs and the new healthier beliefs that may replace them. I'm just going to read 3 of these. So the first statement would be, and this is a self-talk statement, I don't deserve love. I don't deserve love. So to reframe that, you can just simply say, I deserve love. Right? Well, how about this one? I am worthless. I am worthless. So you can reframe that by saying, I am worthwhile. I am worthwhile. Well, how about this one? This is for my brothers right here. It's not okay to show emotions. It's not okay to show emotions. You can reframe that by saying, it's okay to feel my emotions. All right? So these are very basic reframing activities or exercises that we can do when we first do some self-reflection. I always encourage journaling. Journaling. We should have some kind of thought journal going on. In this world of self-improvement, and or if your goal is to improve, your coach, highly recommends a thought journal. And we're going to get into an activity a little later. All right? So once you do your journaling, and from what you write down, which should be your random thoughts that are coming to mind, the next thing you want to do is determine, okay, let's decipher what I'm thinking versus what I'm telling myself. There's a thin line between them both. For example, right now, I'm thinking about the activity that I'm going to introduce later, right? But my self-talk would be, man, that activity we're going to do later is really good. It still derives from a thought, but I'm saying it out loud. So the thought doesn't necessarily have to be verbal. It could be something I'm processing in my mind. But the self-talk is what I'm really saying to myself in the moment. Are you with me? So I want to make sure that we don't take this lightly, because we do this faulty thinking thing and this negative self-talk more than we actually know. And the only way that we can really and effectively track that is through journaling. As a matter of fact, anybody that's joining in on TikTok right now, this is what I'm going to offer you. I will help you for the next 2 weeks. You send me a DM and say, Coach, I need your help. I will help you in the next 2 weeks to develop your thought journal. And we can do a few exercises in the next couple of weeks where we can dissect your thoughts and pick them apart and distinguish your thoughts from your self-talk, and talk about how destructive your self-talk has really been. Just shoot me a DM and I got you. 2 weeks, no charge. I'll help you to examine your self-talk and your thoughts, and to help you to begin your thought journey. All right? Let's carry on. We're going to review from this article some common cognitive distortions. And again, we went over this before. There are so many ways our thinking can play tricks on us that it's almost surprising that we think clearly most of the time. All right? Cognitive are faulty or biased ways of thinking about ourselves and or our environment. They are beliefs and thought patterns that are irrational, false, or inaccurate, and they have the potential to cause serious damage to our sense of self, our confidence, and our ability to succeed. All right, let's look at some of these common cognitive distortions. All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Let's see, is this it? Yep, here we go. Right here. Love this article. Check this out. Here we go. There are numerous ways to categorize cognitive distortions. and it can help individuals improve self-awareness to identify, very important, and understand them. That's where journaling comes in. 4 categories of cognitive distortions include: number 1, self-centered. Self-centered. Number 2, blaming others. Number 3, minimizing and mislabeling. And the 4th one is assuming the worst. As you hear these, I want you to think whether this applies to you. So let's start with the first one, self-centered. This is cognitive distortion number 1. Self-centered cognitive distortions involve thinking in extremes. Thinking in extremes. Who is this for? It says all or nothing thinking, also known as black and white thinking. It is the inability to see shades of gray. Everything is viewed in terms of extremes. For example, something is either awful or fantastic. You believe you are either a total failure or completely perfect. Here's a quote: I cheated on my diet, so I might as well eat whatever I want the rest of the week. This sounds familiar. In a spiritual context, this is the person that says, and we're going to keep it real. We keep it real here. This is the person that says something like, how about this one? This is the extreme thinking. This is the all or nothing thinking. It goes something like, I thought about having sex with so-and-so, so I might as well just do it. This is the person that tries to justify their sin. And they say, oh, well, if God's going to hold me accountable for the way I think, well, I thought about it, might as well just go ahead and do it. So chew on that for a minute. All or nothing thinking. Then we have the mind reader. Mind reading is jumping to conclusions. Who is this for? TikTok, who is this for? Mind reading or jumping to conclusions happens when people assume they know what someone else is thinking. For example, someone might see a stranger's unpleasant expression and automatically assume they are thinking something negative about them. Another distortion. And then you have, under the same category, should statements. Should statements. These are ones that we make to ourselves about what we should, what we ought, or what we must do. These thoughts set up unrealistic expectations. I hope that makes sense. That will most likely not be met. Should statements can lead to guilt, shame, and resentment. We get disappointed when others don't meet our expectations and beat ourselves up when we don't follow through with what we ought to do. Here's an example. I should always be nice regardless of how I feel. Or, I shouldn't have made so many mistakes. All right? So those are self-centered cognitive distortions. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is the cognitive distortion of blaming others. The cognitive distortion of blaming others. Blaming others is the opposite of self-centered thinking. When things go wrong, it is always someone else's fault. So you have the subcategory under blaming others, is called the control fallacies. The control fallacies. Control fallacies manifest as one of two beliefs. One is that we have no control over our lives and are helpless victims. The second is that we are in complete control of ourselves and surroundings and take full responsibility for the feelings of those around us. TikTok, are you with me? Here's an example. Relationship conflict is always due to the other person. Or, it is my fault my parents divorced. That is an example of a control fallacy which falls under blaming others, which is a cognitive distortion. All right, let's go number 3. The third cognitive distortion involves minimization and mislabeling. Minimization and mislabeling. These distortions involve getting less weight to positive things and more weight to negative things. TikTok, who am I talking to? Who's guilty of this? Who's guilty of giving less weight to positive things and more weight to negative things? So the subcategories under this section of cognitive distortions is magnification and minimization. Minimization. Sorry. This distortion is also known as the binocular trick because it skews perspective through either exaggerating or minimizing meaning, importance, or likelihood. An athlete who is generally a good player but makes a mistake may magnify the impact and start to believe they are a terrible player. Another athlete who wins an important award may minimize the importance of their contribution and continue believing they are only a mediocre player. For example, here's a statement that falls under this category. I failed the test, so I will fail school and never get a job. TikTok, are you with me? All right, let's go to labeling and mislabeling. Again, this falls under minimization and mislabeling. All right? Labeling and mislabeling are extreme forms of overgeneralization where judgments of value are assigned to ourselves and others based on only one example or experience. A student may label themselves as an idiot for failing one assignment. A waiter may label a customer as a stingy old miser if they leave a bad tip. Mislabeling refers to the application of highly emotional, loaded, and inaccurate language when making statements. For example, if someone gets in one car accident, they label themselves as a terrible driver. All right? So that is minimization and mislabeling as a cognitive distortion. Here's number 4. Assuming the worst. TikTok, who am I talking to? Assuming the worst. Assuming the worst can lead to depression and includes the following 5 distortions. Overgeneralization is the first one. When broad conclusions are made from a single event, overgeneralization. Overgeneralizations can lead to chronic pessimism and negativity about oneself and the environment based on a single experience. For example, somebody gets a flat tire and says, "This always happens to me." I have terrible luck. So, who am I talking to? If you use words like always and never, then you are overgeneralizing. And I'll go further to say, as your coach, if you are in an argument with your significant other and you say you always blah, 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 or you never blah, 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 I'm telling you that you're a liar. Because nobody always does anything at any point in time. Even if they do it once, they've done it. So never doesn't ever really apply if you're building your foundation on truth. Are you with me? And nobody always does anything. And if you're saying that they always do something, then you are building your foundation on a lie. So do not overgeneralize. It is a cognitive distortion. Let's go to the second one, emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning occurs when we accept our emotions as fact. Who am I talking to? It is often described as I feel it, therefore it must be true. Who am I talking to? This is a common distortion. Why? Because emotions are powerful, but they are not necessarily the truth. So good luck on a person that wants to follow their emotions. For example, I feel lucky tonight. I'll bet my paycheck on that horse race. Good luck. Let's go to mental filtering. Mental filtering. This is another subdivision of assuming the worst. When individuals focus only on negative aspects and ignore the positive in situations, events, and other people, it is a form of mental filtering. This leads to an altered perception of reality that magnifies the negative. This is your glass half empty people. These are the people that ruin the party. Because all these things are going well, but they want to focus on something negative, the Debbie Downer. For example, focusing only on negative feedback from a performance or presentation and ignoring any positive feedback. Who am I talking to? I know for me, if I'm honest, I do this sometimes. My wife will tell you. She keeps record. Stuff like that. Praise God. Disqualifying the positive. Similar to mental filtering, disqualifying the positive occurs when positive experiences are rejected. When individuals do this about their own accomplishments, it can erode self-esteem and confidence. For example, I only won because there was no competition. And then the last one we have under this category is called personalization. As the title implies, the distortion involves taking everything personally or assigning blame to oneself. The cognitive distortion covers a wide range of situations from assuming, or this cognitive distortion covers a wide range of situations from assuming you are the reason a friend did not enjoy a night out, to believing that you are the cause for every instance of irritation in those around you. Here's an example. It's my fault that the party failed. All right. So those are examples of the most common cognitive distortions. Jamar, you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts before we go on? Are you good to go? All right, cool. All right. So let's get back to the foundation of the topic here. How does cognitive reframing work? Cognitive behavioral therapy is built on the idea that the way we think affects the way we feel, right? When we think negatively, we often feel negatively and are likely to behave in ways that are not conducive to our health and well being. Cognitive restructuring requires challenging negative thoughts instead of simply accepting them as true or unchangeable. This method of addressing problems and promoting healing constitutes the bulk of CBT sessions and offers dozens of techniques and exercises. All right, let's move on. When, where, and how to use reframing. We're going to get to the meat of where I want to stay tonight. Cognitive reframing is a good choice to use when a client is suffering from the negative outcomes of their behavior, and I'm going to say, and having trouble changing the behavior. This is often due to dysfunctional underlying thoughts and beliefs, which cognitive reframing can be used to identify and address. Now, listen, most of these dysfunctional underlying thoughts come from the people who have built our foundations: dad, uncles, aunts, grandparents, big cousins, big brothers, close friends. Well, I guess we could say close friends build on the foundation that's laid. But the people that you spent the most time with in your earlier years, they are primarily responsible for any underlying thoughts and beliefs. They are the ones that have built your foundation. And if you're coming to coaching, then my job, after we do your life story interview, is to identify what those are. Then we can start to rebuild your foundation with the help of some therapists. All right? Because coaching and therapy go hand in hand. They are complementary, not contradictory services. And my wife so happens to be the best therapist I know. All right? Let's move on. This is where we're going to land today. Jamar, this is good stuff here. There are 6 cognitive restructuring techniques, and we're going to focus all of our attention on one. And I'm actually going to show you guys an activity that you can pull from positivepsychology.com to do your own self-work. All right? Although cognitive distortions are stubborn and surprisingly insidious thought patterns, there are ways to combat them. Cognitive restructuring techniques have had great success in identifying, challenging, and replacing faulty ways of thinking with more accurate, helpful, and positive ways of thinking. The first one we're going to park on today, and we're not going to go beyond this. Next week, we'll do the second one and maybe the third. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write down or text yourself or whatever you do now, Socratic questioning. Socratic questioning is a very effective cognitive restructuring technique that can help your clients or can help you challenge irrational, illogical, and harmful thinking errors. TikTok, are you with me? All right, I'm going to stop sharing here. Shout out to Rock. Rock is in the building. Brother got bumped off for a minute. All right, here we go. Check this out. Am I sharing? I want to make sure I'm sharing. I'm not sharing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Check this out. Socratic questioning. Listen, let me say this again, like I never said it before. I'm not a genius. I've just been doing this since 2004. So I have experience. I have degrees, but so what? I have certifications, but so what? Most important thing that we share is that we have access to knowledge. So I'm giving you guys a resource to use. This is a Socratic questioning exercise that you can literally fill out. This is the third resource I'm giving you. This is from therapistaid.com/worksheets. therapistaid.com/worksheets. TikTok, are you with me? Listen, for Socratic questioning, as a part of your work for cognitive restructuring, thoughts constantly stream through the mind, and we tend to automatically accept them as true. But if we slow down and reflect, this is why I say journaling is important, we discover that many lack evidence, being the thoughts, or distort reality in a negative way. If you were doing this exercise with me, your instruction would be to identify a thought that's negatively impacting how you feel and then answer the questions below. And you will elaborate on each one, explaining why or why not. This is really good. The first one is, or the main thing, keeping the main thing the main thing. What is the thought I want to question? So you would literally elaborate on the thought that you want to question, right? And then you would answer this. What is the evidence for this thought? What is the evidence for this thought? And what is the evidence against the thought? So you would elaborate on that in your journal. Then we would go to the next question, which would be, am I basing this thought on feelings rather than facts? Am I basing this thought on feelings rather than facts? Remember, I told you guys in previous classes, your self-talk has to be the superhero for your thoughts and your feelings, or else your actions will be impacted significantly. If you allow your negative thoughts and your negative feelings to impact your self-talk, you can forget about behavior. It's going to fall right in line. But your self-talk has to be the superhero. And that's what I coach you to do. All right? So again, in this exercise, you would write down the thought that you want to question. And the sub-questions would be, what is the evidence for the thought? What is the evidence against it? The second one would be, am I basing the thought on feelings rather than facts? And then the next one will be, is my thought overly critical? Is my thought overly critical? How about this next question? Could my thought be an exaggeration of what's true? Could my thought be an exaggeration of what's true? All right. Same worksheet. Next question. We will go right into this, and I will ask you to elaborate on it. How might others interpret the same situation differently? How might others interpret the same situation differently? And you would elaborate on that in this exercise. And then you would come to the next question. Is my thought based more on habit or past experience than what's true now? Is my thought based more on habit or past experience than what's true now? Everything based off of truth, right? Truth and evidence. Notice how you hear that repeated in this exercise. Last two questions. Is someone else's opinion overly influencing my own? Very important. Is someone else's opinion overly influencing my own? And then the last question would be, is my thought a likely scenario or just a possibility? Is my thought a likely scenario or just a possibility? And then at the end of this exercise, we draw from your answers. You rewrite your thought so it's more accurate and more balanced. So all of these questions are part of the Socratic questioning process that will enable you to, as the Bible says, take every thought captive. And this will help you to identify the thoughts that are negatively impacting how you feel and your exercises to answer the questions and elaborate on. Again, I gave you 3 resources. Psychology Today. You can Google Psychology Today. Pardon me. You can put in any topic. You can find an article. You can do your self work from that. If you need help, I'm your guy. Or you can use positivepsychology.com, right? And you can do the same thing. You can go to their search engine. You can plug in a topic, and you will find a series of exercises and activities. Or if you want some activities and you need homework, some of my clients say, give me homework. And then y'all don't do it. But it's all good. When you don't do it, we do it in the next session together. The next resource I gave you tonight was therapistaid.com/worksheets. And you can literally put in Socratic questioning, and your self-work can begin today. You do not have to delay the process. All right, any questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts before we close out the lesson or the class for the day?
Hey, bro, can you send me that some questions like Howard? You can send that, can't you?
Absolutely. Let me copy it right here.
Come on.
Right here for you.
People kept calling me, kept kicking me out.
Oh, good. And I'm going to send it to your email right after we close out, so I don't share your email with everybody. But I got you. Cool enough. Thanks for checking in, champ. I appreciate you. Let me give a couple shout outs to those that chimed in on TikTok, and then we're gonna get out of here. So again, Rock, salute. Thanks for checking in. Abdullah, salute. Reverend Edna, Norma Ortiz, thank you for checking in. Much love. Thank you for checking in. Heather, thank you. Uh, Don Meyer Hoffer. That's cool. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you. My man Don Ted, salute, salute, strong man. Strong man Baltimore. Appreciate you, champ. Tori Harris, thank you for checking in. It's been a while. CC, thank you for checking in. Ron and Audrey, thank you for checking in. Conrad Carter, salute. Angela and Katie, thank you for checking in. Appreciate you guys. Randolph, thank you for checking in as well. This is Coach Class with Coach. Again, we're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have the replay that airs on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook channel every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you guys next time. Salute. Peace. All right, Brody, hold on. Let me shut down the stream.